Well, I'm glad the sun is up today. It was not the day we were looking for yesterday. I'm not going to complain. We had a good outing from Mel Gibson, a winner, 57-2. We had a second with Purple People Eater, and a pretty crummy day and a horrible track. That was one hell of a mile from her last night. Now, what went on with the rest of them? Ready for landing. I didn't realize until after I talked to Tim and I said, "You're going to scope this horse, man." I took my time getting to the front. And when Ronnie came with the long shot, I was just going to bury him right there. He felt good. So we started into the backstretch. He fizzled out. Now, my initial response was, don't tell me that the horse collared him. He looked him in the eye, and the horse and Ready for Landing gave up. He's never struck me as a coward. Never seemed that way to me, but I've never seen him in that situation in a race. Right? I've seen him bottle up or running away. I've never really seen him in a place where somebody could collar him and him walk. Now, last week was not necessarily his fault. Now, last week was the start of all this. Last week was not necessarily his fault. That was a pretty good horse that run him down, but he did throw it in a neutral. We scoped him after. There was a couple of spots of blood and some mucus, but the mucus seemingly made up for the blood. This is why I see these few spots. There was no rush to get him on Lasix. Just didn't feel like it was a necessity at the time. Well, fast forward to Saturday. Tim trained him, said the horse trained fantastic. We're going into yesterday, and he felt good. Scored him down, he felt good. So again, you saw those few spots of blood last week. We thought it was because of the mucus. Then we trained him on Saturday, trained great, and then I scored him down also. So I get a message from Tim saying, Ready for Landing bled. And I said, well, in my head, he was already on Lasix. Right? In my mind, he was already a Lasix horse. I said, well, how much Lasix he getting? And I guess if we're gonna train him in between trips, kind of stiff, because he's a hot bugger, right? You've seen him, grabby. He gets real grabby, and he gets really grabby, and he can be hot, and he can be a hot horse. So it's not shocking that he would be a Lasix horse. In fact, I felt a little shocked that he wasn't. And when you train him in between, he's going to be the same way, hyper and hot, just wired for sound. That's just him. That's Ready for Landing right now. He's getting better. That's still him. Sure enough, we scoped him and he bled. So obviously the first step would be to put him on Lasix. Secondly, as I said to Tim, if we train him in between, it's going to have to be light. And if he's going to be hot, maybe even a little TQ, a little ace when we train him might help him a little bit more, just to keep him chilled out. We can mitigate this for sure, but absolutely, I was actually glad to hear it. I would have been more concerned if it just turned out that his blood come back good and he didn't bleed and he just let that horse sail on by, and that would have been more disappointing to me than to hear the horse had some blood. So Ready for Landing is heading to Lasix. Mel Gibson raced great. I thought he was a little off left hind pulling up. Tim said he was good after, when they were walking him in the paddock after he was in the test barn. I'm going to have the vet look at him today just to make sure everything is okay. And he'll likely be off to Indiana now. They've stake races next week there. I don't think he's shown me enough to say he belongs in the sire stake races, but there should be some sort of a grassroots system or horses that raced in the Indiana sired. The Indiana sired races, excuse me. Should be there also for Mel Gibson. Now Sweeney, I didn't really get any feedback from Jason and Luke other than to say he just rolled off. Well, that's frustrating. To not know what had happened. If he had said, "Oh, he lost a shoe," or "it was my fault, I got him too close to gate," or he touched himself, or he just shied away from something. That's something. But when you come back with, "I don't know," it's upsetting. So, man, I would love to race Sweeney full time in a 5/8. He might be a horse that I might send down to Stacy. I know it's a little bit of shipping into Scioto to race, but he can't make a full go of it over at the Meadows, and I just think that he'll race around a half. He raced fine last time I drove him here. but obviously struggled last night. Now he's got flip-flops on. I can't get them off him right now because he literally needs them. So what are our options? We can race him next week here, I suppose, and then potentially look at sending him down to Southern Ohio for a little bit, somewhere a little closer to a bigger track for him. I think that's probably the best play as of right now. I do want to take a look at him today, but he certainly didn't show any lameness to me in the post-parade or the warm-up from what I was told. I saw him in the post-parade, didn't see him in the warm-up, but Jason said he was actually good last night. Luke said he was good in that regard, but just rolled off, which I haven't really seen him do. I've seen him make breaks, but for reasons. They were all explainable. To say that he made a break for no particular reason is a little concerning to me, so I'll have a look at him today. Dominion, disappointing. He wasn't in the mile at all. This is a 5/8 mile track. I'm going to have to have a talk with Harry and just say, listen, is this guy going to get around a 5/8 well, or are we just going easy with him to see how he get around and the race kind of get away from us? I don't know. Again, I'd like to see more from this guy, right? From Dominion. I think there's more there, and I would like to see it. But again, I'll defer to Harry in that regard. And then Purple People Eater, as I said, I thought she raced fantastic. Really turned into a nice filly. That was a hell of a mile last night. You have no idea how much it rained. They were calling for, so for you in Canada, if you open the weather app, you'll see 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 1.4 millimeters. It was calling for 10.7 millimeters. 10.7 between 7 and 9 o'clock. So it's a lot. That's a lot of rain. So, and they got all of it, I believe, from what I could see anyway. So, Purple People Eater got away well, did well, a good mile from her on a really, really muddy track. And then Prince Charmer, that was maybe one of the most disappointing races of the whole day. Cleared to the front, looked good trotting. Now, I did think he looked a little shuffly and a little pacey in the first turn when he moved him at the 5/8. I'm like, ooh, a little choppy there. And then they put him in gear down the backstretch, cleared the lead, opened up 3 lengths, and then rolled off stride in the last turn. Now, I don't know Tyler well enough. He's a good kid. He's doing a pretty good job at Northfield Park. I see him winning some races, so he's doing good. I can't blame him for the drive. That wasn't his fault. But I am curious why he got shuffly, why he got pacey, and why he made a break. I will get to the bottom of that, that's for sure. So aside from bleeding, a win, a break, the only real flat line yesterday was Dominion, which I would like to get a handle on and figure out why that happened. And when I do, I'll get back to you from when I talk to Harry. And then Prince Charmer made a break. So, I mean, one of those days where things had gone our way, Ready for Landing was in a good place. I can't tell you he would have won. That was a good mile, 55. But he certainly felt like a winner when he fizzled out. So I'm more apt to say that he would have been very, very close. Mel Gibswan was a winner. Sweeney made a break. Dominion was no good. But Purple People Eater raced good. And Prince Charmer was gone. And a winner made a break. So a little smile from the racing gods instead of a frown yesterday. And we might have ended up with, a couple wins, couple of seconds. Instead, we ended up with a first, a second, 2 breaks and a flat mile. So, a little upsetting, but we'll endeavor to push forward. Today, we have Flash Fly. Now, Amy's not feeling that good. She was a little bit sick last night. She's trying her hardest to work on the bills and get the bills out this month. This is the last month we do. I said it last month, but this is the last month. She's not feeling great, and Addie's a little bit sick, and I got a little bit of a headache too. So I think Flash Fly might be on her own today. It might be a Chris Lem show for Flash Fly. I do have work to do at the barn. I get stuff I have to do around the barn. Then I have to go to Scioto and race Irresistible Sun and Gypsy Hill. That's an absolute must. So when I look at the giant window, it would take 2 hours there, 2 hours back, and then the time attributed to the race, it's almost 5 hours with Flash Fly today. Coming off a bout of sickness, I think maybe Chris Lems can get Flash Fly around okay today if he's there. And I'll focus on the 2 horses in Scioto and the barn. Today I'm going to have to do Amy's work. I told her just to stay home and relax. So as you can tell, I am a little bit under the weather. A little run down probably from doing all the running around. And there's a lot of sickness going around. Not just with the horses, but with the humans. Jason was sick. A couple of people in the barn were sick. Addie's a little under the weather. and Amy is also, so am I. So one of these things, I think it's just a one-day thing for me. I usually kick back quick off this stuff, and I'll be back at it full bore ahead come Friday. Who do we got on Friday? Friday night racing. So we have Stay Close, Really Don't Care. We'll race in Tioga. We have Pickpocket, JK Victory, and also I'm there for 3 Point Blue Chip. I guess he trained great yesterday. So happy to hear that he trained good. Amy was happy with him yesterday, so I think he's in a real good spot Friday at the Meadows. We had a great lineup for Friday. Hopeful for Pickpocket. This muggy weather, these horses that are bleeding a little bit, they're a little bit prone to it. It really draws it out of them, right? When you have that heavy air. So I am a little concerned in that regard for Pickpocket. And Stay Close, who's been known to be a bleeder. 3 Point Blue Chip's been pretty good for the most part this year. So that should be a pretty good run on Friday. Saturday, of course, we have Memory and Imagination. We dropped him down to the Stallion Series level. There was just no need to be in the Sire Stakes. He had picked up a fourth. After this lag, I think he's got the Courier and Ives, and then he's off to Kentucky. So there's no real need to rush around. Those series finals kind of lay on top of one another. So why not? And again, I'm not taking anything for granted, but why not we take the low-hanging fruit? Put him in the Stallion Series. He should be good in there. Fancy Like, Tactical Mounds, and Born to Dance. A pretty good lineup, actually, for the rest of the week. I didn't get to the rest of today also. We have Flash Fly, obviously. Irresistible Sun and Gypsy Hill are both in really good spots tonight. And Tech Song Soprano, Drebin, and Mounds for All races tonight. What race is this for Mounds for All? This is 7 to 5 in an $11,800 some sort of overnight race by the looks of it. Okay, so the stake race is next week, where we'll also have Mel Gibbs one. Hopefully there's like a horses that raced in the or Indiana sired eligible type races. They usually have those. Anyway, that's what's going on the rest of the day. For today, I'm going to be off Flash Fly. I'm going to focus on our horses in Southern Ohio. We have a number of horses. Drebin also racing tonight. I can't wait to watch him race again. He's 7 to 2 again. We got a pretty good lineup for the rest of the week. It sucked about yesterday, and obviously I blame myself when it comes to Prince Charmer and Sweeney. I should have been there, I suppose, but I was a little beat up, a little tired, and wish now I had to push through. Anyway, I'll talk to you all very soon. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It wasn't a horrible night last night. I mean, the silver linings were we did have some horses that were. Prince Charmer was going to win. Ready for Landing was going to be good if he hadn't have bled. Mel Gibbs Swan did win. Purple People Eater race good. You know, Sweeney and Dominion. Got to work on those two horses. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care and enjoy the weather if it's like this wherever you are.